Hey nerd family, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing our full review on the Tivo Stream 4K Android TV device. If you haven't yet seen the unboxing video, go ahead and check that out first. So today we will answer the question, is this the best streaming device for your money? Before we answer that, I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro, and I'll see you guys back here in a second. Alright guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be finding out if the Tivo Stream 4K is the right device for you. If you guys have not yet checked out thenerdcircle.com, go over there and check it out. Let us know what you think. Also make sure, if you're not already following us on social media, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Real Nerd Circle, so make sure to check those out as well. Alright guys, now to jump into today's video. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to the TV so you guys can get a better look. It may look a little bit different than last time. There was an update not too long ago where you have these little ads that are scrolling across the top. They're actually not horrible, they're not too intrusive, and it kind of gives you some ideas of some shows to watch. If you highlight over those, they do get bigger, and some of them do have like a trailer or something kind of showing what they're actually showing there. So you do get a little added information, so it's not horrible. If you compare this to like the Fire TV, the Fire TV has more ads, they're a bit more intrusive, and you have to kind of press the button down a couple times to get out of them before you can select anything else. So this is a little bit easier and cleaner of an experience. As you see, it's scrolling across through 5 different ads currently. As I sat there for a few seconds, it did enlarge it, and it's scrolling through the 5 different ones. You could of course click the button to watch whatever show or movie it's showing on that platform, and some of them will actually pull up like an actual trailer or video. Oh, here we go. Here's one now.
Will Billie Eilish get everything she wanted?
When Eminem and Juice WRLD let Godzilla out?
Is life good for Future and Drake?
I don't want to get copyright striked, so I'm going to go ahead and hit back on that ad there, but it does scroll across and sometimes show you some videos. I will say, for those of you that watch the unboxing, we had a lot of issues when we unboxed the product and tried to use it. I did return that unit and order another one. I also ordered yet another one so I could try 2 of them at the same time to see if they'd have the same issues. I have not had issues with either one of them, so I do think I maybe just kind of got a dud. Now, reading some of the forums, the problems I was having, other people were having similar problems, so I don't know exactly what was going on, but I have not yet had a problem with both of these devices that I'm currently using, and I've been using them across different TVs in the house, some further from the Wi-Fi, some closer, and I've been testing out all the different apps, and I've yet to have an issue, so I do think it was something with that one unit. I do have my favorites section across the top here, so you can see as I scroll across. I have some of my favorite apps set there. Now you can of course choose to add more apps into your favorites or remove apps. The only ones you can't remove are Stream and Netflix. You can't move those, you can't remove those. If you hit the plus at the end, this is going to show all the apps you currently have installed, and you can of course add those to your favorites list if you would like to. I just have chose not to have them in the favorites list as of right now. Most of these are apps that I don't use all the time, so if I need to, I just go all the way to the left here and click apps, and that's going to open all my apps that I can get into that way. You can of course click get more apps or get more games. When you click get more apps, it does just bring you to the Play Store, where you can of course go through and find more apps. Up at the top, you can scroll through between apps, games, my apps, where you can look for updates. You can, of course, search. It does show you apps that you've had on your Google account across other devices that you don't currently have installed on this one. So that way it gives you ideas of what to install. I think most of you know how to use the Google Play Store, so I'm not going to go too in depth on that, but you can break it down into categories to find certain apps that you're looking for. There is no shortage of apps. Since this is running pretty much the full Google Play Store, there's really no shortage of apps. While we are talking about apps, what I will say is currently it doesn't run Apple TV. I don't know if it will run it in the future. Amazon has gotten the Apple TV app on their device, so I don't know if that's an inclination of what's to come on other Android TV devices, but we don't see it here yet. So if that is something you need, this might not be the device for you. I would look more towards the Apple TV, but know that you are paying a premium for Apple TV, but it does seem to include almost every app that I've needed to search for. But I believe Apple TV comes in around $200, where this comes in around $50, so just know what you're getting yourself into if you're looking for a cheap streaming device. The other app that I have seen that this does not have, which is no fault of its own, is the Cinemax Go app. It does look like HBO has pulled the Cinemax Go app from all app stores, both Apple and Android. It does not seem as to yet that they are going to push any of that content to the HBO Max service, as far as what the executives have said so far. You can still watch Cinemax on the website, but there are no apps. So it's really no fault of this device. Other than that, I had no issues finding any of the apps or services that I was looking for. And for most of you that know me, I have a lot of apps. So I did try to find almost all the apps that I needed on this device and did not have any issues. And that does include HBO Max and Peacock, the two new streaming services. As you scroll down, you can customize this sidebar. You cannot move apps, play next, or the TiVo recommended. But anything underneath that, you can move up or down on your list. So if you go left, it gives you the option to move it in whatever direction. This one's at the top, so you can only move it down. Netflix here, you can move up or down, and so forth with all the apps. I kind of put them in an order that I like, but you can go and remove some of these if you feel that there's too many and you just want recommendations for certain apps. But each of them just give you recommendations based on the apps or services that you have, so you can kind of see what's out there. If you were to hit Customize Channels, that's where you can go and toggle off if you want to have that channel show on that main screen there or not. And that's really all there is to the main menu. So all in all, like I said, this device has pretty much all the apps that I need, and it runs them pretty well. And the remote is pretty easy to use if you're going to use this remote. So without having all the issues we had with the first device, I would go ahead and say I'd probably give this 5 stars now. I haven't had any issues with it. Now, if you are into the live TV, that's another thing that this has different versus most of the other devices. So as you saw in the unboxing, I did kind of go into the Tivo Stream service here. So we'll take just a little bit further look at it. Now currently it works with the Tivo Stream TV service that they have set up, as well as Sling TV. But I do not currently subscribe to Sling TV, so we're only going to get the Tivo stuff. Now when you first come in, you're going to be on the home screen, which is a little bit different than that live TV. It's got a little bit combination of other things as well. So for now, I'm going to jump into the guide and kind of get that out of the way. So if you do subscribe to Sling TV, you'll also see your Sling TV channels come up in here as well. But for me, it's just going to be the Tivo Plus service. Now, I will say the Tivo Plus service, it has its pros and cons. It's nice that I can just go in, find a channel that I would like to watch. So let's just say I want to watch Kitten Love here. We can go into it. It loads it up pretty quickly. So if you're just wanting to watch something live and don't really care what you watch, maybe you just want to have something in the background, or you just, want to watch something different for a change. There's quite a few channels of different things that you can find that's all included at no cost. But what I will say is most of these channels, very similar to some of the other free live TV systems, only have about 3 hours or so, give or take, of content that they just loop over and over and over again. So just keep that in mind. But it's nice to have something like this for free. I do hope over time with the other streaming services that, whether it be free or not free, that they do plan to add into this guide, because I think it would be great to have all the TV services, live, not live, whatever they might be, to have them all in the guide. I think would be a great feature. So I hope that's something they're looking to in the future. If we jump back out of the guide, let's go back to the home screen. This is where you're going to see some of your shows that when you set up your device, you hit as your favorites or that you like the show. It's going to show those here and where you can watch them, which is one of the great features of this Tivo Stream 4K that not all devices are doing yet. There might be a few out there that are doing a similar thing, but this is the first thing for Tivo, and coming in at the $50 price point, first device to do it. And what I mean is, if you click on a show, let's say we click on this, the one and only Ivan. Currently it's only on Disney+, but it does show you what service it's on. You can add it to your shows if you want. You can, of course, rate it if you want. And it does also show you similar things that you may like based on that show. So let's just say Scoob, right? So if we wanted to go into Scoob, now you can see Scoob is available on HBO Max, Prime Video, and Google Play. So you can, of course, choose the service that you have or the service that you like and go ahead and hit on it, and it's going to go in and watch it now. Nothing else you have to do. So that was the trending section. You have recently watched, which are going to be things that I recently watched. You do, of course, have live TV. So that's going to, again, kind of be the things that we were just watching. So this category here is actually going to be streaming originals that they recommend. So any platform that has an original that you have logged into this account here, it should show those. So this one's going to be Netflix, of course. As you scroll across, you see that this is on both Netflix and Prime Video. I don't know, there's a few of them that are kind of slowly loading there, but it shows you some of the originals across different platforms and where you can watch them. Then, of course, it's going to have recommended shows based on your shows, as well as recommended movies. Then you can break it down into genres. They also have the Emmy nominees, political TV shows, all about suspense, and the list goes on and on and on. So they have quite a few different categories there. I will say, when you're setting up your device, take the extra time. It gets a little daunting, but take the extra time and go through those 3 different categories and make sure you pick a bunch of shows and or movies, whatever's coming up there, that you like to add to your shows. So that way it kind of builds this collection for you to find new things or to find the shows that you watch, and it'll kind of alert you when they're on and where to watch them, things like that. So take the extra time to build that profile. You can, of course, like I said, if you find some show that's not currently in your list, you can hit plus my shows and it's going to add it to that list for you. You can also go to the episodes. So just a lot of great stuff that they have packed in just to this Tivo app that can kind of scour everything. Instead of you having to back out and go to a different app to find a certain show or see what's on, you can pretty much do it all right in here. So this is just a great feature to have on a budget device. Down the category here, you do have My Shows. So those are going to be all the shows that you have selected as your shows. I've got a big list, so I'm not going to show you all of them. The guide is where we just were for the live TV. You can, of course, go to just TV shows and see what's trending and break it down by genres and networks and things of that nature just for TV shows. You can do the same thing for movies as well. You can go and find some sports. Now, as of right now, it's not really sports like live sports, but it's shows and movies that are based on sports. You might find a couple things here and there as they start adding stuff, but as I've noticed from looking through, it's going to be more things that are already out, not like live sports. And you do have a kids section as well. It doesn't seem to be a very massive section, but it's just great to have it as well. Now for me, it usually doesn't take this long to load some of these titles, but right now I am probably sitting a little further away from the Wi-Fi than I should be, which is one of the downsides to this device, is that you can't plug it into the router or into a network switch like you can with some of the other devices. So that's going to be its one biggest downfall, is that you can't plug it in directly. Now there is a USB-C port on there. I do hope to test it a little further in the future. I'm going to get a device that I can test some like external hard drives and things of that nature, some flash drives. But I also want to see if maybe they'll put an update out where you can use a internet dongle to plug into there to give it that signal. But as of right now, I don't believe you can. So I do hope they add that in the future. And as you're looking through, seeing that they do have the kids account, you can also set up parental controls as well. So just something to keep in mind. If you do have some kids, you have that kids profile and the parental controls also. Last thing I want to touch on with this is it does have that Google Assistant built in. You can use the button on the remote, or you can come all the way up to the top and click to speak there. I've used it for quite a few different things. I do have the Google Home set up in my house, and I have some lights and other things attached to it, and it does that very well. You can, of course, just kind of ask it things that you would maybe Google if you want to know some answers to some questions, things like that. But it can also open apps for you as well. So as an example, open Plex.
Opening Plex.
And you see that it opened the app right there for me. So that Google Assistant comes in very handy. So if you're debating between certain boxes, I would say try to pick one that's got that Google Assistant, which is going to be mostly your Android TV devices. And this also does have Chromecast built in. So if you're trying to watch something that they don't have an app for, or you want to stream something from your phone or whatever, they do have Chromecast that you can cast it over to this device. So guys, I would highly recommend this device if you're in the market for something cheaper that for the most part does it all. I think this might be the device for you. If you are someone who is really into watching those Apple TV series, unfortunately as of right now this isn't going to have the Apple TV service. So if you got some extra money in your pocket, then I would go towards the Apple TV platform. As of right now, from what I've noticed, the Apple TV device does have almost all the apps, including HBO Max and Peacock. But you are going to pay a premium for that device. And if you are someone who has an Android device, you're going to struggle a little bit with casting to that. If you have an Apple device, then you shouldn't have any issues there. If you are someone who's more into gaming, you can do some light gaming on here, but it's not really a powerhouse, so you'd be looking more towards the NVIDIA Shield device. That one's going to be a little bit more up your alley as far as gaming because it's built more for gaming. It's got some more internal parts, some more RAM and bigger hard drive, things like that, that can handle that gaming more than this can. But again, you're going to pay a higher premium for that. And besides the gaming aspect of it, the two devices are very similar. And an honorable mention is going to be the Amazon Fire TV. I am an Amazon family person. I use Amazon a lot, and I have some other Amazon devices as well. And I thought the Amazon Fire TV was going to be the perfect device for me. But as of right now, it falls short in a few areas. One being that they currently don't have HBO Max. They also don't have Peacock. Now those will be coming sometime in the near future, but we don't have a date just yet, so they fell a little bit short there for me. But it does add Apple TV. So if you are someone who wants to watch those Apple TV shows, but are more of an Android person, then that could be the device for you as well. But the other area where it falls short for me is that they have more ads, and the device seems to be a little bit more clunky, and there's probably more apps that they don't have that I haven't come across as of yet, but it doesn't have the full Google Play Store like this does. It's a more dumbed down version, and you may have to sideload some things, so keep that in mind. But all in all, I would say that this takes the cake for me for the entry-level streaming devices. If you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comments down below. Of course, if I missed anything, let me know there as well. Let's go ahead and head back over to the desk. Hey guys, so I hope you guys are enjoying the video, but I just wanted to jump in here real quick because it's been a few weeks since I recorded those segments there that you guys are watching now, and I've had some time to kind of think about and collect my thoughts, and I don't know if I really collected my thoughts well enough when I shot the video. So just in case, I'm throwing this in there just to kind of give you guys a full sum up after having to test the device for quite some time now. I will tell you guys, in my testing, what I've been doing now is I do have a cord that goes from the HDMI port and the dongle itself plugs into it, and that gives it a little further away from the TV, so there's no heat or anything that could cause the device to malfunction. It's not too close, causing interference, anything like that. But it also gets it just slightly a little closer to the router. Now, my router is upstairs, so it doesn't get it that much closer, but it does kind of pull it away and get it a slight bit closer. So I would highly recommend that if you guys are using a dongle type device, to go ahead and get a 3 to 6 foot cord, depending on where you want to place the actual unit. And I did this also for my family member that also owns this Tivo 4K stream device as well, just because I wanted them to have the best experience possible. So with that cord, I haven't had any issues. I did purchase another Tivo device just because I wanted to rule everything out before I give you guys a full review of the device. So I do have currently 2 of them, and I'm using them in different rooms of the house, and I've been testing them, and everything's been great. My family member that got the device has been testing it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, and they don't seem to have any issues with it, and they love it. Now, I'm also a very hard critic on these devices because I want it to be perfect. I want it to do everything, and you can't expect the $50 unit to do everything. So my family member that's not as particular and picky as me loves the device. I also love the device. It just doesn't have everything. It's very close, though. I think if it had Apple TV, this thing would be perfect. Unfortunately, I don't know if or when we will ever get Apple TV Plus on any Android type devices. Now there are a few, so the Amazon Fire TV does have Apple TV and Roku does have Apple TV, but I mean, because they're not full-fledged Android TV devices, I don't want to say that, you know, they don't go to Android, but currently that's where they sit. If it comes to Tivo Stream 4K, or does come to the upcoming Google Chromecast with Google TV, then that might make, whichever one gets it first, might make that one perfect. So, moral of my story is that I think they work. The issues I had when I first got it, I think were just fluke issues, and or maybe they updated it since then. There also have been some updates that have come to it that I don't know they really announced them. I've just noticed some changes since I've been using it, and I don't believe that I caught those updates before the other videos, so I wanted to tell you guys in this video. So previous, if you got that remote set up and you change it to a different TV, it doesn't know that you changed it, so it didn't really work. And I read that you had to reset the whole device, get everything all set up again to pair that remote with a new TV, which is kind of a hassle. While I was at my family members using theirs, I was staying at their house for a couple days. I brought mine with me, and I didn't reprogram the remote. I didn't reset it. I just knew that it wasn't going to work for the TV to turn it on or off or to change the volume. And after a couple days of using it, it actually learned it. It just started working. I was very surprised. I don't know why or how it worked, but it just did. But then I noticed in the menu later on that you can now go into the remote settings and you can actually change it to a new TV. And it gives you a whole list of manufacturers and asks you some questions to make sure it works, to turn the volume up and down, turn on and off, things like that. So great update that they put in there. Super cool because you don't have to actually reset the whole device. They also added in, like, if you have a sound bar, you can add a sound bar to it, so some cool little updates there. I also have noticed in the live TV department that I do believe, I can't really confirm nor deny because they haven't said anything, but they added some more streaming services to that list. When it first came out, it was just the Tivo Stream service for the TV channels, as well as if you bought into the Sling TV. So they had both those services there. But when I was playing around with it at my family members, they also had some other options in there. I don't remember exactly which ones they were, if it was Fubo. I don't think it was Fubo, but there was some other services in there. It may have been Pluto. Either way, I noticed that there was at least 3, if not 4 services in there. So they're definitely adding and upgrading and changing things as we speak. So I think it's great that it's going to continue to improve, and hopefully the competition with the Chromecast with Google TV coming out doesn't kill TiVo. I hope that it helps them kind of grow and they can kind of bounce off of each other and become better. I do think that if either one of these devices had where you could plug in an Ethernet port and had expandable storage, it would make them top notch. But again, it brings you back to the $50 price point. So you can't expect everything in the $50 price point. So, you know, I will say that the Tivo Stream 4K, you can't load it up with every single app because it eventually will tell you you're low on space. So you kind of have to be picky and choosy, but all the main applications that you're going to have, you can have on there no problem. But if you want to add your Fox and your NBC and your Comedy Central and all your every single TV app known to man, it's eventually going to tell you you're out of space and there is no expandable storage. So kind of a downside if you want to have every app everywhere, but again, $50. So with that being said, I do think it's a great device. Now, it's not the device for everybody, you know. There's going to be some people it's not the device at all. It really depends on what you're trying to watch. So what I will say, to sum this all up, is if you're a diehard Apple fan and you have to have Apple TV Plus, well, you most likely already have an Apple TV and you're probably not watching this video. But if you are one of those select few that are watching this, don't have an Apple TV yet, and Apple's definitely, you have to have it, well, you could go towards the Apple ecosystem, get the Apple TV, which is a quote-unquote perfect device because it has all these other services. But if you have some Google stuff in your house, Google phones, things like that, you're going to struggle a little bit when it comes to trying to cast to that device. So keep that in mind. Plus you're paying that $200 price point. You can go with a Roku or an Amazon Fire TV to get that Apple content, but then you may, depending on which one you choose, lose out on some other things. Depending on which one it is, you might lose out on Peacock or HBO Max, potentially both. So you kind of got to pick and choose your battles there. So I think that all around, the Tivo Stream 4K is almost perfect. And if you want something that almost does it all, you can do without your Apple TV Plus series and movies, then it's definitely worth giving it a shot. I may hold off until the Chromecast with Google TV comes out and kind of see what's going to be your better option, but they're both at the same price point. They're both very similar, so I think they're going to be very close. And that leads me to my last point, is the remote. Now, the remote, they call it like the peanut remote. I don't have it with me right now to show you guys, but It's actually a very easy remote. There is a few weird buttons and places that I thought are odd, and sometimes without looking, I hit the wrong button. But all in all, it's a good remote. It works, it gets the job done, and it's got a lot of your features there right at your fingertips. And we will see going forward how it compares with the remote for Chromecast with Google TV. It's a smaller remote, has less buttons. Maybe less buttons is better, we'll see. But for right now, the Tivo Stream 4K remote is actually pretty decent. So is this a device for you? I mean, I don't know. If you got 50 bucks laying around in your pocket and you want to test it out, I'd say go ahead and give it a shot. And I think for the most part, it's going to have most of the things that you're interested in, minus the Apple TV. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put you guys back to your regularly scheduled programming. I hope you guys are enjoying, and I'll see you again soon. I do hope that this has been able to help somebody today in making a decision on what streaming device you're going to get. Any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section down below. As always, I hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you did, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Of course, if there's anything I forgot to mention, I will leave it in the description down below. If there's anything you noticed that I forgot, please leave it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to share this video across any social media platform that you like. Let me know down below, what are your thoughts? Are you going to try out the Tivo Stream 4K for yourself, or are you going to pass on this one? Also, let me know, what are you guys watching? What's your favorite streaming platform at the moment, and what's your favorite show that you're binging? If you guys already haven't subscribed, go ahead and make sure you subscribe for more. Go ahead and ring that bell so you get notified of any new videos to come out. You can go ahead and follow those links on the screen over there to get to the older videos. And until next time, guys, stay nerdy.